So there is a saying that says that things happens for a reason. That's the approach some bloggers in the Philippines are taking regarding the new guidelines, the new NPC guidelines, which is the National Privacy Commission that issued just recently, and that's is in effect. This is the these guidelines for blogging, which is pertaining to, of course, privacy issues. Privacy is privacy of the people who can be on your video, on your blogging, if it's whether this is live stream or even you have in a public event or private event. I mean, these new guidelines it's a reinforcement of the 2012 laws that was in effect, but this is going to be reinforcing and applying, and bringing little more to the effect in which people, basically are going to be suing, you know, bloggers, um, uh, just because their faces are or they're they have no consent to be to be on those videos, whether it's a private event or public event. So now, what is the difference? I mean, that's if we have to first make the difference exactly what was before. I mean, going back to 2012 and now 2025, these new guidelines. Well, the first guideline, for instance, if you have in a public event, the issue was if you there was the issue of public domain, in which if people are agree of or in a volunteer manner, they go to a public event. Basically, being in public means that your faces or your presence can be used for not just for bloggers, for not news, for the broadcasting for mainstream media. I mean, if there is a news item that the mainstream media is broadcasting from a live event or from a news item in some which we are just standing by. Let's say there's an accident, a news crew comes for the 6 o'clock news. This is a for TV station, and that person, that the TV crew comes, and the reporter is reporting to his to his TV station, to the main office. I mean, live or even editing out. I mean, if you're just standing by, on like an onlooker to an accident or to a shooting or to a crime scene. I mean, you're just standing by in public, right? And your face is showing on that newscast. Are you gonna sue them for that too? But of course, for broadcasting, for mainstream media, there are laws that protects freedom of speech, of course, and it's going to be hard to, make the difference. What is freedom of speech um, for a broadcaster, for a news people, news media, TV crew, radio, and aren't we also like a independent journalist as a blogger? As a blogger, basically, we're independent journalists, basically journalists, in general. And well, in the new law, there is a such thing of there's going to be registration and licensing, which in a way is a good thing. It's a good thing because you never know who has. I mean, everybody blogging for in a public location. I mean, you don't know what kind of use that person is going to use. There are some pervert. I mean, there are many people use for different things. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, I think I see it, nice, good way, the idea of licensing licensing and registration, as long as the with the new guideline, of course, the NPC new 2025 guideline. I mean, if as long as it's not that much of that you're going to be paying. I mean, as a blogger, you're going to be paying to register. Hopefully, it's not that much money to pay. I mean, if it's this is like a well that specific, it doesn't say how much is going to be the fee. It's like you having if you're taking getting your driver's license. Of course, there is always a little fee for your driver's license or like a contractor licensing. Of course, if there is a licensing and registration, why not? I mean, I don't mind to but let's say it's like a 500 pesos, 500 pesos, which is like around what I would say around $8 9 fee for a yearly fee, or every 6 months. I mean, I'm not saying that should be. All I'm saying is that if there is a, something, because YouTubers, guys, most YouTubers don't make that much of money. I mean, most bloggers, some do. I'm sure that all those people, those bloggers with over 50,000 or 70,000 or 100,000 subscribers, they make some money. But I'm not saying you don't have to like now put different category, different level of payment. All I'm saying here is that as long as because the bloggers, we promote the country. We are in a way, as we blogging the country, as we blogging the beautiful cities, the touristic. I mean, all these the sightseeing areas. I mean, we are promoting this. We are ambassadors, even though that we are foreigners in a country like the Philippines. In a way, we are ambassadors to the country. We are broadcasting. Many people are looking and watching this in Latin America, in Europe, in the United States, and eventually these people are going to come as to spend money for investments, for businesses. I mean, we are promoting the country. We are not like damaging as a bloggers, as a YouTuber. We're not there. We're not in the Philippines to damage, of course, cause any harm to anybody, or but of course, this law could be, for some people who have different ideas, who have bad intentions. But if we do in good faith, I think, these new guidelines, maybe we can just try to use AI technology. I mean, attached to our devices. We have to like adjust, I guess. As the time goes by, guys, we all need to adjust to the new technology, to new law, new regulations, wherever we are. But still, some YouTubers, well, they're gonna, I guess, change their plans. Maybe some not. Some YouTubers are gonna just wait and see. Is approach, wait and see approach to see what's gonna happen after August. I mean, August just around the corner, just a month, 6 weeks. 5 6 weeks away, and we're gonna wait and see how this is gonna be enforced. How hopefully there is no just like what happened to Vitali, that in the Vitali case was extreme case. We all there is a general consensus amongst YouTubers that there was extreme situation in which people got people get that the way he was doing the pranks were damaging the moral, the laws. I mean, it was against the law, some, of course, and they were victims, of the Vitali's case. But the most 99% of YouTubers or bloggers, blogging from in the Philippines are not really, in a way that we're promoting something to violate the law. I mean, most of us, we're just trying to do the best we can to and blend with the local population, blend with people. I mean, that's that social connection, human connection with different cultures, different people. I mean, that's the richness of these videos, that in which, as we interview people, the food, the the view of what's that's how people find out how is the Philippines, you know. So it hopefully is not gonna go to the extreme of just suing for anybody taking advantage of this situation, and sue and demand money from YouTubers, take YouTubers to court just because their faces are there. I mean, they are present in a situation in which a blogger is like live streaming from in a street, right, on a street corner, live streaming. Like I said before, it could be if you have attached to your software, artificial intelligence software that are attached to your cell phone, and no problem. I guess if AI can blur the faces of all the people that are, even if there are tons of people, like if there are 60 or 70, who knows? In a street, sometimes in crowded streets, like a market, like in Tondo, this populated neighborhood. There's so many cases in which there are tons of you walking by, and tons of people walking, which one way or another one. I mean, so if, of course, AI software is gonna take charge of your channel, basically. In some cases, basically AI is taking over our channel. It's gonna take over, because most of the work is not gonna be from the YouTuber. I mean, the perspective of the YouTuber, but artificial intelligence is going to be blurring the faces of those people, or all these people on the street, or at any public event. I mean, we can still do our broadcasting. I mean, our live streaming from the streets from a public event. But if we have the software and appropriate software attached to our device, in which we are blogging, and that of course that program is going to be the one blurring the faces automatically. How is a live streaming, guys? So live streaming is still going to take place, but it's possible. It's possible, and all we have to do is adjust to the new situation, adjust and make it work. But now, part of the law says that if bystanders, that's what the law, the guideline says, if bystanders are standing by on a street, I mean, at a sidewalk, or vulnerable meaning like people as in a sensitive, like minors, like of course minors, we all knew that we all there's in the previous 2012 law that, and in every country, of course, you have to be careful how to, when you do your blogging or your videos. I mean, that has to be edited out meaning, and how to, unless you have a permission from an adult. But if an adult is, a mom, a couple with the children are walking by, and you're filming, and the adult, the parents said hi, I mean, there's implying a little, like that they're enjoying, I mean, I'm not saying that you are physically like pointing at the minor, like in a cruel exploitation of that face of a minor. But I mean, you're belonging on a couple, a family, passing by, like who knows, half a block away, a block away, half a mile away. I mean, how are you gonna? I mean, it's almost impossible to prevent a family passing by with a couple of their children. But I don't think they mind, because there is no intention. I mean, there is no premeditation. There is no intention of violating any law. But in the current guideline, it's possible that family feels offended, of course, and they have the right, of course. And we all have to follow the law. If there's a new adjustment, new guidelines, we have to obey the law. I mean, even the immigration law, as we visit the country, people visiting the country now, for registration, issues, I mean, and licensing, everything. So as new YouTubers are after thousands, I mean, people are visiting, like I said, 15 million people visited, close to 15 million, not 50 million, but like 14.5 million people visited the Philippines last year, the year 2024, and thousands of them were new they were new YouTubers that they just came maybe for a couple of weeks, and some of them stayed the long haul for some YouTubers, foreign YouTubers, expat YouTubers have been there for years, some of them 15 years, some 12 years. I mean, different. And of course, some people have family links. Now there are YouTubers, foreigners who are married to local Filipinos and Filipinas, right? And they have children. I mean, they already they are settled down. They just, some of course, many YouTubers are already packing up. I mean they're saying it. They're just packing up and getting ready to get out of Dodge, like I said, getting out of Dodge, and who knows? I mean, they may come back, but things can change from here to August. So maybe the guideline is going to be more, public, more explanation. There's going to be, the government, of course, they're going to explain more how to, how this is going to be applied, how it's going to be applied, specifically, to bloggers in general. Of course, especially foreign bloggers who are, of course, we have to comply with the law. Now, let's say that in part of the law says that, of course, the new guidelines also, that the written consent that you authorize. Let's say that you find a homeless American, an American expat who is homeless, for instance. I'm just giving a specific case. Or a British expat who is homeless for a year in the street, sleeping on the street in the Philippines. You want to interview that person, that homeless, expat who is on the street. You want to create awareness. I mean, you want to help that guy. I mean, blogging is just not for profit. Blogging is for help. There are so many bloggers who, it's a public, it's a social help. I mean, in a way that creates awareness for people to help somebody who is in a bad situation, not just for foreigners who are in bad situation in the Philippines, in who are living on the streets under a bridge. I mean, but also for for local people who are as a result, many missionaries as a result of blogging. I mean, from YouTubers, explaining what's going on, in video, to poor, most vulnerable areas, poor people in poor neighborhoods, what's going on. As a result, many missionaries comes, to evangelize, to bring help. I mean, there. So it's help for the people too. It's not just YouTubers making profit. Making money out of video. So let's say you, in a way that in the case of you have a written consent of a homeless American expat who is living on the street. I'm just giving an example. It could be a British, so it could be Australian, it could be from any country, and then you have the written, a formal that you have a form that you have, you fill it out with this person who you're gonna interview on the street. But what if next day after you have written consent? I mean, you have a written consent in which he wants to be on your video. But the next day somebody says, well, he was not in his right. He had a mental issues, psychological issues, mental. That's the reason. One of the main reasons he's living on the street in the first place. So how are we gonna figure out really if this person is in his right, 100% on his right mind, to that he was not able, especially if he's an elderly person, if he's on the age of, if he's over 60 years. So that's a considered vulnerable people. Now, even if that person gave you the written consent to be interviewed, right? To have an interview, to let the world know what's going on with him, with her, if it's a female. But next day, the person that same person can turn back and say, and he's going to be suing you with his lawyer, and his lawyer is going to get a psychologist or psychiatrist, an expert or social worker says, hey, he was not in his right mind to do that consent, to authorize you to have him on his video. So there's going to be a litigation, then you need a good lawyer to defend yourself about, even though that you have a written consent from that person. So in cases like that, I mean, you just have to, we have to adjust, I guess, now how you approach the kind of, that's a private interview. You're interviewing somebody who you have consent, that there's a consent from that person. But not even that, if that person is not on his right mind, he has a mental issues, but it doesn't seem that he had a mental issue during the interview. But it could be that they can argue in the court of law that he wasn't 100%. Think about that. He's living on the street, under a bridge. I mean, he's not. He has, of course, he has no work. He has no income, but that makes him even more vulnerable. So, in cases like this, you have to go case by case. So, it just everything, again, I just wanna, the first offense about, if you, let's say you make a mistake. We all make mistakes as we approach, as we do our live streaming or doing our videos. But let's say that you make a mistake, and well, now what's gonna be the penalty? Because there are some penalty that's gonna be in the first offense. The penalty is gonna be, they say it's stated in the new guidelines. It's gonna be from 0 to 500,000 pesos. It could be any in between, depending how serious is the case, how serious is the offense. That's for minor offenses. It could be 100,000 pesos or 50,000 pesos, depending on the situation, each situation. In the second offense, it's going to be from 500,000 pesos to 1 million pesos, right? In between, somewhere in between, up to 1 million pesos. And from there up to, it depends if there's a third offense or fourth. I mean, who's going to go that far? I mean, how are you gonna go? Where are you gonna pick? Where are you gonna get that amount of money to be able to pay all these fines? Most likely, it's gonna be up to like 5 million pesos, which is lots of money, right? And also it states that for felonies, I mean, for felonies in cases, extreme cases, of course, there's going to be 6 months to more, to up to like after, after if the felony was proven to be really serious, of course, minimum of 6 months in jail, like I don't know, up to 5 years or 6 years, who knows. I mean, depending on the violation. I mean, there is no specific, but it depends on the violation of the offense. But the approach now from many YouTubers of packing up, of course, uh, those of who have like who are like career YouTubers, right? That has been working in different, not just in the Philippines. They stay, these fellows, these guys say, they stay 1 month in the Philippines, they go to Cambodia another month, and they keep traveling the world basically. And this is not just American YouTubers. I mean, they're from Europe, from Oriental, from Koreans and Australians and Germans and all kinds of. It's not just for even from Latin America. Many YouTubers who travel, maybe they do the traveling. I mean, all through Southeast Asia, and they go to South America, Mexico, and they just keep going, traveling the globe. And of course, digital nomads who work, who have online businesses, online self-employed in their own online businesses, and they work from beautiful beach from one of these islands, whether it is Mindanao or the areas of Dumaguete, Cebu, I mean Cebu City, and all these beautiful places. So of course, these people, they do they do not just, they're not just self-employed and doing their own business. I mean, working on their own businesses or working online for a company. People who teach English. I mean, the people who teach 3 or 4 hours of English. Like there was a British uh, uh, British blogger from I think it's Northern Mindanao. He is a British from some. His channel name is like a British through the eyes of the British from the Philippines or something like that. But he says that he's teaching. He teach English and also he's doing his blogging. I mean, he's live streaming almost on a daily basis. So like, and he's married. This fellow is like many other expats are married to a local. They have children. They have houses. They have they have a family to feed basically. I mean, they have to put the food on the table. So it's not just bloggers who just they're there. The foreign bloggers who happens to be 1 month in the Philippines. They just leave, right? And they take the next airplane. They just change their plans, and instead of being a month or two in the Philippines, traveling through all these islands, they just change their minds and go to the next country. No big deal, right? But for many thousands of other bloggers who are expats bloggers, right? They call the Philippines home. It's home for them. So it's gonna be there's gonna be some adjustment, like I said before, make adjustment to a new reality in the blogging world, a new reality for YouTubers. So the approach is wait and see, but in the meantime, the bleeding has started. So we see what happens, and thanks for watching. We keep our eyes open and keep, don't get discouraged if you are a blogger. Don't get, try just to adjust. Try to get informed. Do your research. Don't rely too much on chat GPT. I mean, the information sometimes could be misleading sometimes. I'm not saying everything is misleading. What I'm saying is that you have to really, nothing is 100% sure, 100%. All the information from the internet, you have to really get second-hand information. You have to just like confirm. It's like having, if a doctor tells you, a medical doctor tells you, right, a specialist, that you have a 3-stage cancer, right, or some kind of bad disease, terminally ill, something really bad, you still have to be, consult to a second specialist, to a third opinion. You have the right to have a third opinion in any case situation, because this is a critical situation for many YouTubers can get discouraged. They can get their morale low, with a low morale. I mean, because YouTubing is like people do this. Some people are very passionate about it. Passionate meaning, it's fun. You can make a living of this, and it's you can enjoy really. This is and many retired people are enjoying it. I mean, doing YouTubing, and this is, people, many retirees in the Philippines has plenty of time on their hands, and they want to use for editing, for blogging, from doing their videos, and people are watching them, and there is a beautiful interaction. People make comments about you. Some people hate what you do, right? They're haters too. There are all kinds of people, but we are all interconnected. People watching you from all seven continents. It's amazing. Even in the Antarctic, people watching you. Alaska, in the cold, in the middle of the cold. In Antarctic, where only 5,000 people live, in that huge continent, people. It's amazing that people watching and making comments from the Antarctic. Think about that. In the middle of the mountain, in the middle of the jungle in Congo, in the Republic of Congo, some people making they're watching from is so it's fun, is amazing. Is one of the wonders of this, the technologies, having been able to talk to so many people, and of course they're listening to you, and if we can share things that can help people, why not, right? So don't quit. I mean, this is not time to quit. I mean, just I'm saying, I'm not saying people are quitting. I'm just people are moving. They're moving. I mean, they're moving as we speak. But we see the approach should be wait and see, and well, hopefully this video will help you to have more understanding, and prepare yourself. I mean, to adjust, like I said, adjust to a new realities, and enjoy the as much as you can. If you have to stay and do your vlogging from inside a living room, from your room, or from your backyard. I mean, there is no when there is no people around, of course, unless you have this written consent, of course. Have you follow the guidelines. Stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, and may God bless you all.